Ready. Check Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though. That's right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though. That's right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though. I said Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Rewriters Room. We are the men with the pen. We are back. Thank you all for the love for season 2, episode 1, talking about the Empress of Tomorrow. She is back. It looks like all her teeth are straight, just like my teeth are straight. It's the boy Armon. I'm here. Reginald Hive for sure.
Scam Daddy.
Yeah, like yo, we here again taking on shopping sprees like a true king should. So, there's nothing better than that, fellas. How y'all doing?
Shit, man, just chilling. Go get him, Chan.
I really was blessed this week when they announced that Shane McMahon and Braun Strowman was gonna happen at Fastlane. I was so certain that was gonna be the Shane McMahon WrestleMania match. I'm like just elated. I won't have to sit through Shane McMahon throwing himself off of that boat because that was 100% going to happen, and now I don't have to watch it. So,
well,
don't want to watch another WrestleMania Shane McMahon suicide attempt.
No, I think the jersey's kind of played out at this point. You got kids.
I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but they took the match off Fastlane, so it's looking like they might be trying to extend it to Mania still. You gotta have a Shane match at Mania, like you have to, especially because he didn't wrestle last year, right? Yeah, Shane didn't wrestle last year. You gotta have a Shane match if you're bringing back a live crowd. I don't even know why they announced it for Fastlane. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. I was like, you didn't give this enough time. It's been a weird feud so far with Shane seeming like he don't know what he's saying and all out of breath. Like, it wasn't it. So yeah, hopefully it gets more interesting.
It's also implausible. Like, it's one of those things where it's like the idea of Shane McMahon wrestling has always kind of been one of those like wink nudge, like, okay, yeah, Shane can wrestle. Like he's a judo master. Okay. But like at a certain point, it's like, if Shane McMahon can like last in a match longer than 2 minutes with Braun Strowman is worthless then. Like, what good is Braun Strowman? And like, I know he's had matches with AJ and Miz, but even like physically, he looks like comparable to them. Like, there's a reason why you've never had Shane McMahon versus, Big Show, or why that like Hell in a Cell Undertaker match was just something we don't talk about because we just act like that just never happened. Even though the stipulation was that Shane McMahon would quit, but like, it just never happened. So like, certain size matchups don't work for me.
Yeah, CC, what's good, man?
Hey, what's good, y'all boys? It's CC, the best rapper and producer in the whole wide world. Got body because I consume healthy products and do towel curls. Benevolent servant to the earth and philanthropist. And every phrase I say is a gem like amethyst. You could put any nigga in the world next to me and dope ass women gonna look at him like, whose man's is this? I may talk a lot, but I only got one thing to say. Love yourself. Keep going. You are the world. Give all you can. Take care of your body, your people, and your land. Check your team, nigga. What the fuck is going on with this Shane McMahon storyline? My nigga, nice. I've been in many a cipher in my day. I've never seen a nigga fuck up that many times in such a short period of time. At one point, I was like, can you just walk to the back and look at the paper again? Like, fam. This nigga was stumbling over his words, and then you got Braun sitting in the ring talking to his boss, trying to be the bad guy, but also trying to encourage him because he's mad at the same time. And he's like, yo, can you please get this shit right so I can actually have a storyline, please? Because I actually have been on TV. Like, I've been off TV for no fucking reason. Look at me, bitch. Like, I came back and made my body crazier, and I look like I could kill niggas now. But for some reason, I'm getting green goop dumped over me out on a fucking table and taking elbows and shit from this fucking 50-year-old man. What the fuck is happening, bro?
It doesn't make any. It's just like there's some things you don't want and you'll be like, okay, I'll watch it anyways, I'll give it a chance. I don't want to give this a chance. Like, Shane's great on the mic, he's great as a performer. He's not a wrestler, but he's a great performer when it comes to these extreme types of matches, which we'll assume they have. But Braun is just, he's a one-trick pony. He's going to give you the little run around the ring thing. He's going to give you, tossing someone across the ring. He's going to give you the power slam. But, like, it's just...
Wait, you just cleared it up, bro. When you say he's a one-trick pony, now I just figured it out. This is why they even having a storyline in the first place, because somebody like that probably got like, that's probably what he realized about himself and why he wasn't really going any further or whatever. So he probably asked for this shit. My guess is what's going to happen is when they finally have the match, Braun's going to win by having like maybe like somebody come out from Shane's past or like doing some shit where it's like he outsmarts Shane to show the brain side of Braun Strowman. And then that's how they're gonna like sell him going. And then like when they want to push him to get like a championship and actually treat him right, that's their reasoning for doing it. I understand that, but like this is such a clumsy way to get there. Why would you do that?
And it's just it's such a sharp turn because like we've been adjusting to Braun being a heel for like since like August. And now it's just Shane, little Shane, 50-year-old Shane comes and he's bullying Braun, and we're just supposed to feel sympathy for him. Like,
damn,
it just it doesn't make sense to me.
How you gonna sell to me this giant nigga getting whooped by a nigga with osteoporosis? Like, what's going on, fam? Like, how is that happening? But all right, I digress.
No. And if we have to talk about stagnant storylines, although I feel like we're gonna get some answers at Fastlane, this Randy Orton and Alexa Bliss thing has just been going on and on and on and on. And there's been some weird moments. I personally feel like the RKO happened too early. Like when Randy Orton RKO'd her, I was hyped. I was like, oh yeah, like the toxic bank, we here. And then from there, it's just been the little sludge coming out of his mouth or her popping up during his matches. But it's like every single week, like something's coming. Alexa's gonna mess with him in some way, and Randy hasn't outsmarted her in any way since the RKO. It's just like, bring the Fiend back at this point. Like, I'm really hoping that the Fiend is back, but by the time people hear this, Fastlane will be over. So I'm hoping that the Fiend is back by then, because this is just, it's like, bro, come on. Like,
what you think about that, Shane?
I think as like this dimension and probably in the multiverse #1 Fiend supporter, I think that part of this storyline's issue is like the storyline itself needs crowds, because like it's hard to be as scary as you want to be without like the reaction of other people. Because it's like it's one thing to be, it's like, it's why like you don't watch scary movies by yourself. It's like one thing, okay, I'm kind of scared, and it's like, but it's another thing when there's a movie theater full of people who are scared, that like compounds on itself. And so if you have an arena full of people like freaking out, kayfabe freaking out, whatever, like I think that compounds on the horror elements of it. Like think about like an Undertaker return to an empty arena. It's like it doesn't hit the same. Like it doesn't speak to you, because like you need the people, like the ambiance of it. And so I think that's what this is missing. And like the Alexa part is interesting because like you really want to see like how far will Randy push it. Like we all tweet about it, but like if he punts Alexa Bliss, like that's a moment. Like that's something that they like will be a thing. And so like, but it would be an even bigger thing if there was a crowd there, if there was like this anticipation all night of like, how was Randy Orton gonna like actually wrestle? So like I agree with you that it's stagnant, but I think it's stagnant is because they're building for, I assume, Bray Wyatt's return, like you said, at Fastlane, and B, because of like the lack of the crowd.
Right. That's interesting. I never thought about the crowd factor. For me, it was more about, so when we got to the moment where he saw the sludge came out, I'm like, yo, all right. Like the reason why I thought like here, I think here's my main problem. Like it felt like the bubble was supposed to pop already, and now we're just like, all right, now it's just this boring bubble that won't stop growing. Like there's nothing happening or whatever. It felt like we passed that pinnacle moment, and I say the sludge because like at that moment, to me, I'm like, listen, I know this is kayfabe and shit or whatever, but there's a person who's a regular human being interviewing him. How the fuck do you think that, and the cameraman's right there, how do you think like people in real life would react to someone having black sludge come out of their body seemingly in reaction to someone who's not physically there and doesn't seem to have injected them with some kind of drugs or something like that? It seems like it's either magic or paranormal, and everybody's just around like, hey Randy, so do you feel okay? I'm like, bro, is nobody like, the reaction should be, yo, what is going on? Like what? And that's so true. Like when you talk about the crowd not being there, that's like, I definitely like can see that. But at the same time, I'm like, why is no one backstage reacting that way? And the reason why is because they all know the story is going to keep going. So I'm like, all right, well, at this point, like there's there's a point to where like you do shocking things so many times that it's not shocking anymore. You know,
Right.
like I'm a Ye stan to the death as far as the music or whatever, but like I don't even be paying attention what this nigga be doing in real life no more because I just know that he's just doing it just to do it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like it's too much at this point. That's where I feel like this storyline is. And my hope is that like they wrap it up in a cool way to make me forget about this part because I've liked everything like up until kind of like the last couple weeks or whatever. Right. It's just I like how they're going weird with it, but yeah.
I think to your point, I think part of what it reminds me of is like, and they still do backstage vignettes, but I think one thing that we've kind of seen as like there's been the rosters getting fuller. A lot characters are much more siloed off. Like I think a lot of times you would see a lot of the backstage stuff. It wasn't even its own storyline. It would just be like two people running into each other. And part of that, what I think of with The Fiend is that like with The Undertaker, there was obviously his like big storylines, but there was always kind of this like low level anxiety between anyone passing The Undertaker. Like they would show him backstage and just people would just be kind of afraid of him or like steer clear of him, or he would just ask, like they would show him like going to the general manager's office and like you would see other people skirt out the way. And I think with The Fiend, while yes, he's scary in his matches and who he's feuding with, no one else ever sees him. And so you don't ever get the feeling that like the backstage people are afraid of him. Like, for example, like Lily Garcia was afraid of The Undertaker. I don't know if Byron Saxton and like the announcers and the interviews are afraid of Bray Wyatt / The Fiend. And I think that's the thing is that like whoever's directly in front of Bray is afraid of him, but like they need to build like the universe where it's like everyone in the arena steers clear of Alexa Bliss because like she's associated with Bray Wyatt. And I think that's like how you're saying that community aspect of the fear is missing.
100% that. Yep.
I love that. Yeah, that would definitely improve it. And then in terms of some storylines that aren't so bad, Apollo Crews, the King Naija, he brought the accent out. Big E was defending against Sami Zayn this past week, right? Yeah, Big E defended against Sami Zayn, defeated him. Apollo pulled up on him, beat him up again, and they'll be set to face at Fastlane. They talked about it a bit on the A show, J5 and Meal, shout out to them. But what would you guys do with this Big E and Apollo thing? Because it's really good, and it's something that you would want to go until Mania. Like, I think they have an intriguing match between the both of them. They don't need that multi-man ladder or six-pack challenge type thing. So would you have Apollo win Fastlane and then Big E get it back at Mania? Would you have Big E beat him twice? Like, or would you let Apollo get the win at Mania?
So I'm gonna make mine quick because I'm gonna get mine out the way. I just want to say, I feel like one of the disappointing things about when we were younger, having characters who are like of another culture and that be a part of their character or whatever, was that the way it was done like was always like some like kind of like either stereotype or just like, oh my gosh, it just really was distasteful. The way Apollo Crews' promo for why he made his thing was like that's promo school shit right there. He explained exactly why or whatever. He was like, I've been in here. You guys have been seeing me. I've been smiling and doing all this stuff, flipping around for you. It's been fine. I feel like you're not giving me respect. This dude told me to go to the back. I feel like I'm really not getting respected. Also, on top of that, there's that second layer for people who really know, like they both at the African descent or whatever. So like this one probably feels like, maybe there's like that level of like back home, even the people back home not looking at you like they're supposed to or whatever, because he's putting on, but you not or whatever. So like there's that layer. And then he was like, no, so I had to go back to my roots with it. It makes sense. Like this, Vince, for future reference, this is how you do it without being racist. That was perfect. For them, I think that's the route they should take, because Apollo brought up their African ancestry. I think it would be like good to make things personal for each other, for them to actually do kind of work shoot a little bit and dig into say no, where you're from, it's supposed to be this and you're not doing your job in this way and blah blah blah, and actually talk about really who they are on that deeper level. I think that back and forth, that's gonna make it really personal and make it look like, hey, these are just two guys who really have a fucking problem with each other or whatever, and they're just gonna go at it. Because that reminds me of kind of the Rock and Stone Cold thing. There was never a thing that was particular about why they didn't like each other. It was just two niggas that didn't like each other. That was just it. I feel like they can have that same thing. And yes, I would have Apollo take it at WrestleMania in this heel role. That would be fire. I think that would be fire. It would help for everyone.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think this happened. This was on the A show a couple weeks ago. J5 was talking about title reigns and how like mostly what we have now are these like super long title reigns. Like, and I remember when we were growing up, at least it felt like, I don't know if this is like empirically true, like titles would switch back and forth a lot. Like not a lot, but like much more often. Like you would have a few that if it went, maybe 3 pay-per-views, one of those pay-per-views, it would switch and it might switch back. But like there was a lot more of that. Whereas now you'll see like rematches, but rarely is it like a back and forth thing. And I think that would help this feud. Because besides, honestly, like the New Day do that a lot. That's why they have so many tag title reigns. No one else on the roster is doing that. So I think if you could have the legitimacy of both of them being able to win it in terms of Apollo and Big E, I think it built up both of them. Because myself personally, while I love Big E and like him as a character, I do think that like he needs something a bit more like to prove himself. Like I think. Eventually, if you want him to be on Roman's level, like you really need to show that he can like have adversity and go through it. Yes. Because like at a certain point, if you're watching the New Day in a tag match, like the money's on them, and it doesn't feel like they're gonna lose it off. So you need Big E to like show that like he can get through hard things, and like you should build Apollo Crews as one of those before eventually you take him to like a Roman or if you put him on Raw, or whatever.
Yo, and it's funny you mentioned that. Apollo being a good step before Roman, because I remember the conversation when Apollo was in the room with Roman talking to Roman, and now they're both like their characters are kind of similar in that they're these kind of Roman's not delusional. I don't think Apollo's delusional either, but they're just these like tyrannical, culture based, very like proud, prideful type dudes. So I think that would be like a perfect arc for Big E, overcoming this Nigerian king and then going on to face, the head of the table, the island of relevancy. So yeah, that's a really good point. I feel like Big E is going to end up getting the Mania moment. So Apollo wins Fastlane, then Big E at Mania, but I wouldn't be mad if it happened in reverse, like whether it's Apollo outsmarting him and like winning in a cheap way at Mania or even winning it clean. I think that they have something here that could last for a couple pay-per-views and like we wouldn't hate it unless it got redundant. So yeah, would love to see that. Speaking of Mania, the Mania card filled up real quick this past week. And one of our questions last episode about what AJ Styles would be doing was answered. And I can't believe we didn't think of this, because I feel like we do talk about Grand Slams and people's accomplishments often. And I guess we just never thought of AJ Styles being in the tag team title picture. But we saw the New Day defeat the Hurt Business for the Raw tag team titles. They're now 11-time tag team champions, and immediately AJ Styles and Omos come out. And seeing that, I was so hyped for it. It's like CC said last episode, AJ and Omos just have this really good chemistry. They're both hilarious. The New Day, what the New Day is going to do. So even that first interaction they had where like Xavier and Kofi are like yelling at him and they're tossing the mics back and forth. And they're like, are you even a registered tag team? Like it's gold already. And it's only going to get better because AJ is really going to get into his super cocky bag. So how y'all feeling about this? And like, who do you see coming out on top?
Man, I don't care. I just want to see it, bro. This is hilarious. This is so great. This is the kind of match that you put together in the 2K game, like, because you wouldn't see it any other way. For me, I don't know, man. I want to see. It's weird because so like I think about Amos and AJ or whatever. I see ego on both of them, and I think putting the tag titles on them would be a great way to like see their relationship develop. And there's a possibility that those two can develop the kind of relationship where once they go back to singles, it's one of those things where like it's always in the background, like how with like Edge and Randy Orton, it's just like, you always have that thing where like, they used to be together. Like they could have a thing like that or whatever. So honestly, and the New Day has like had the titles so many times. And I feel like part of the reason why the Hurt Business got the tag titles off of them is because the Hurt Business is about to move into the next phase of whatever they're doing, which probably doesn't involve the rest of them having titles except for just Bobby. And that's probably a reason that's going to play in that storyline. So for me, I think the New Day can like sell anything. It doesn't matter what match or like feud that they have going on. So let's go ahead and take the titles off of them. Doesn't really matter. And then we give almost the opportunity to like really develop like personality and also develop the relationship with AJ Styles, founding like a foundation for like any later static they might have in case they might do a match. Because that's the thing, we've seen AJ in matches with guys bigger than him, and those are great matches. So imagine these two, like they've been with each other. This should probably be fire, bro. I want to see them get the chips. I want to see how this play out.
So I'm of two minds. So the first part of me, it kind of like I was just saying, the New Day drop and gain tag titles like it's a nickel. Like it's nothing to them to lose the tag titles. They didn't get it back in New Days. So like part of me just kind of wants to see AJ and almost win because it'll be cool to him being Grand Slam, and also like for just to see what their matches be like. Also because I think it's not that we didn't think of AJ as a Grand Slam champion. I think it's that none of us thought of almost as a wrestler. And so I was like, oh, AJ doesn't have a tag partner. Why would he be in the tag? Like it doesn't even like it would be like if Zelina Vega was Andrade's tag partner. It's like, oh, I didn't even think that was going to be a thing. And so I think that's part of it. And so part of me is like, I want to see them win, but part of me also has this fear that, and this is like maybe conspiracy theory, but like Vince saw Paul Wright to show up on AEW, and now he needs a big guy who can just tag with anyone. Because that's one thing about Big Show. Big Show is a whore for a tag team partner. He will tag with anyone. Like he will be anyone's tag team partner.
He's a whore of a tag team partner.
He will just sign up and be someone's tag partner. Heel face doesn't matter. And
he's
so
probably tagged with everyone on that he was with on the roster at some point.
Bruh.
Like and so over his 20-something career.
There's no one he hasn't tagged. There's no one. There's simply, and so part of me fears that then almost takes that role of like, yes, he wins these titles with AJ, but eventually they break up and then almost tags with Apollo and then almost tags with Miz. And I just like part of me just has those like fears. And so part of me is like, I kind of want him to just turn on AJ at WrestleMania. And then that is his like start to his career. And then like he just becomes this, whatever Vince wanted Lars Sullivan to be, or whatever he wants, the Black Great Khali, and whatever that is. I would prefer just to get to that now than to have to go through like some of these baby steps of being tag partners. Although like you said, I do love their chemistry. I just like fear that he will then be pigeonholed into that role. And that like,
that's a really good point. I think AJ is going to take it just because going into a WrestleMania, I can't ever remember a time where the storyline was this person is doing this to become a Grand Slam champion. Like when Seth won the Universal title, they mentioned it. Oh, he's a Grand Slam champion now. But like that wasn't the motivation going into it. Seth won the Royal Rumble. He was facing Brock. That was the story. So I feel like just because they're like making that the thing for this, I think AJ is going to go over. This is great for Almost because he's in the ring with three incredible workers. So like he's going to be a made man. He's going to be able to learn a lot. Like they're going to be able to control things and make him look good. I'm when CC was talking about the whole like AJ being prideful and cocky and being phenomenal, like this is almost him whether he ends up going over clean or not, like having huge ass Almost as his partner to help him get the tag team title. Like it's almost like him cheating or like taking a cheap route to it, which just furthers his heel status. Because Almost is already washed Xavier Woods. He'll probably put Kofi through a table at some point before Mania comes. So I think it is a good look for him. I think this will help him with his in-ring. I also do hope that they end up breaking up at some point and like Almost can actually shine on his own, because Vince loves those big guys, and you always need some big guy to make some feud look like there's a baby face that's about to lose, and then they overcome. Like
Kane worked a lot of no mercies. He got a lot of no mercy title shots. Kane got cashed him checks at Payback, boy.
Man.
He was in the matches.
Mark Henry, Big Show, like a lot of these big men. Gotta have the pipeline of improvement big men.
Good work. It is good work. If
I should have seen him. I should have seen it, all of this coming when he first teamed up with X-Pac. I should have seen all of this coming when that first happened. Even back then, as a kid, I'm like, hold on a goddamn second. Wait.
What?
So where are your morals at, Big Show?
Ho, truly a ho. But CC put a question here that I read, and I was like, ooh, and I'm reading it again, and I'm still oohing at it. So I would love for us to forecast who we think are the potential Money in the Bank winners after WrestleMania.
Man, I can't honestly for the men's. I'm thinking maybe Cesaro. But then again, I'm not entirely sure, but it's possible. It would be great if somehow Apollo got it. I feel like that would be super nuts. But for the men's, I really don't have like a really good guess. I'm gonna say maybe Cesaro just because of how much like they've been slurping him lately. But like for the women's, I feel like it's gonna be Rhea, bruh. I think she's gonna get it off rip. I'm not lying. I don't know what it is, but like I feel like once they see her in that ring for the first time, like because they already got a really good promo for her. Like they ain't slack at all with that shit. And then second of all, like they already was high on her like in NXT, like she was just running it up the charts like always. So I feel like they're gonna do the same thing. You see how they treated Bianca? Like if they treating Bianca like this, bro, come on. This one don't got melanin. They might run it up immediately. So yeah, I think Rhea takes it.
So my like regular brain, like kind of like first and foremost idea is probably AJ. Like I'm like, oh AJ, he'll have if they don't get the tag titles, AJ will do that. Mm-hmm. My like higher elevated brain is like I think it would be dope if Retribution got it. Like if Ali got it somehow, I think that would be a fire. Like he could like kind of hold the company hostage. Then there's like, like pipe dreams, like, Ricochet returning Aleister Black, Keith Lee. You guys like, I don't know what their status is right now, so I don't know if they get it, but like the Galaxy Brain idea, the idea that like the people need
this.
You need Montez Ford to get that briefcase, my boy. You need Montez Ford to call that ladder, get that briefcase and challenge them. With the crowds back, you need that. You need him to have that threat of the smoke anytime Roman's walking around. Him just like him and Angelo, because he got Angelo with him, so him and Angelo can deal with Jay and Jimmy. Yeah. And then you always have that kind of hanging in the background. You have Roman do his feud, but you have Montez always like, hey, like I might call on the smoke anytime you need it. And then SummerSlam rolls around. Roman Reigns has just an epic match with John Cena. And then you just dun, 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 dun. You give Montez Ford his first Universal title. We start the next 20 years of the company, and we just start printing money.
Amen.
Like the new cash money, baby.
I love it, and I think the excitement for me is like 75% of the time, the people who have Money in the Bank are either already heels or they turn heels, and I would love a Street Profits heel turn. Yep. They would be incredible heels. Like think of all the things they do, the jokes they make, the dancing as faces, and then just turn it heel, turn them into some arrogant, like we
prophecy came true.
Shit.
We just like Street Profits and the prophecy came true.
Need it in my veins right now.
It would be amazing. It would absolutely be amazing. So that's a fire prediction. Wait, did you say a woman, Chan?
No, I even got that. I think for the women, I think it will be Rhea Ripley because I think that like that's who they're just hyping up to be the most right now. It would be more interesting if they gave it to someone, even if it was like, a returning Becky Lynch, or you finally want to pull the trigger on Liv Morgan or Ruby Riott. Like that would be more interesting because they are kind of recycling the same amount of people. Like, or the person we're gonna talk about later, Naomi. I mean, that would be uncomfortable too. But I would give it to someone who like has never who needs it, because I think what we've seen before is that like they tried it with Otis. You can't go too silly with it. Like, please don't let Lana win it. Like, please, God, please don't do that. But it is a good look for someone like when Bayley had it and she cashed it in like at Extreme. Like the look of someone like who can like overcome the mountain.
Nikki Cross.
Like Nikki
Holy
Cross,
shit, It might be Nikki Cross.
True. Or it could be somebody from NXT. They keep cycling them out too.
Okay, so that was the other one, bro. What if like EO get that shit?
That would be crazy. That would be fire.
I
would love her to be a looming threat with the fucking Money in the Bank on both brands. Oh my god, that would be fire.
Tony Storm would be fire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, or Tony. Yeah.
Tony Storm. I just need her doing everything. But anyway, I think my predictions for the women, and I don't know if I like this, but judging how I think WrestleMania is going to play out, it makes sense. So I have Bianca beating Sasha at Mania for the SmackDown Women's title. And then I have Sasha being the Money in the Bank winner for the women. Bringing her cocky boss type attitude to it, like, because that would, like, her as champion doing this, it just hasn't been believable. But her as the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, I think her boss character would be a bit more believable because she's still towing that line between like face and heel and doing heel type stuff, but she's super popular. So I just as champion, like, I think they said this on the A show or on some podcast, but Sasha's more interesting when she's chasing the title than when she actually has the title.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close.
It's like Dean Ambrose. Like, they just, once you use it, it just doesn't hit the same. Or like even like a Jeff Hardy, like, it doesn't hit the same once you've gotten there. Like, the best part's the climb.
Yeah. So I think with Bianca having the title, with Sasha being a thorn in her side, and then, just the SmackDown Women's roster hopefully improving through the shakeup, I think Sasha would be a good and safe choice. Of course, I would love a returning Becky, but that's really it. Like, there's too many like lower mid card women that just wouldn't be believable having it. Like,
oh my god,
there's
no,
there's no one who's really like broken through in the last year beside, like,
stop it.
Yeah, no one knew. I mean, like, maybe Shayna Baszler, but
so I was actually hoping for that. That would be dope. That would be dope. I feel like she should get it. And then, like, you see how she's getting annoyed with Nia now.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's a build-up for that, for them to like split off. Channing, whatever the fuck you were just thinking about, do not say it.
I think I know what you're thinking about. Is it Billy Kay or Peyton Royce?
That's the one. You give it to Billy Kay for sure. That would be so.
I wouldn't
funny.
hate that. I would hate it if it was Peyton.
Her resume. That would be so funny.
No, but yes, that would be cool. That's something we would like. If it was Peyton, we wouldn't like that.
Yeah. So I think Billy Kay, because they're funny. I like that. Just to me would be the funny part, because if you're not, because like you said, there's not a lot of women. Part of the Money in the Bank thing is also like just having the fucking briefcase walking around. You have to swag it out. Not everyone can swag it out. Like certain people, like, it doesn't make sense for, like, I don't know, like Lacey Evans to walk around with a briefcase. It's like, well, what does she have that for? Like, put it down. But like Billy is comedic enough where she could like use it as like a prop, and she could actually make it funny. Whereas like I think they almost kind of wanted Otis to do that, but like Otis himself is too silly. Whereas like Billy is funny. Whereas like Otis is like physically funny to look at. Yeah, and I think Billy could carry it for sure.
Shannon, you just activated my That's So Raven gene, bro. I'm seeing it now, fam. All right, so boom, Billy Kay win the Money in the Bank, right? Then she goes on, like, in almost every week or whatever, is like she's trying to come up to another person to like plot with them to say like, hey, if you could do X, Y, and Z or whatever for me or whatever, and then I can win the championship, I'll really take care of you or whatever. And what they're doing with that is showing how she's so goofy that she'll like just plot it out in the open and not be smart enough to like, hide it like most of the wrestlers do. Whatever. But plot twist, nigga, one of these pay-per-views come up, she actually cashed it in, and like her whole character changed. She turned into like the whole like I was masterminding this whole like being goofy act. It was just to get to this. Oh my gosh, that would be fire. That would be like such a, man, that would be wild. That wouldn't happen, but that'd be stupid.
Get her some muscle. Get her a Raquel Gonzalez, or get her a Tamina.
Turn that up.
Just get her a valet, and you good, because she's a good enough promo where she can talk her way out of anything. Like, you could even have her, like, it'd be funny if she like, it's not even going to the rest. Like, she went to like MVP or like Paul Heyman. It was like, so how do you do it? How'd you get that to happen? I need some advice. Like, that would be a funny vignette.
Hell yeah. Never seen it coming.
And then for the men, I don't know. This one was kind of tough. I would love to see Shinsuke get it. I think at this point, I'm interested to see what happens between him and Seth. It seems like Seth and Cesaro is the plan for Mania. But if Shinsuke and Seth run it after Mania, and then, either Shinsuke turns or he stays face or is one of those faces that turns heel with the briefcase, I think him getting the world title at this point, with the briefcase, assuming because I do think Edge is gonna end up winning at Mania. He's gonna beat Roman and Bryan. So if it's Shinsuke cashing in on Edge, or like Edge losing it to Bryan the pay-per-view after Mania, and then Shinsuke cashing in on Bryan, like something like that, where it's more believable than Roman getting cashed in on at this point. So I think I'm gonna go with Shinsuke.
They really got Bryan about to take this bump in Mania. That shit funny. They said Roman said, "Well, I'm not taking the pin." So you always figure something out. Call somebody because it ain't gonna be me.
Oh man,
tough.
He said Edge can win. I don't care. I ain't taking no L.
I ain't getting pinned for a year.
He said, "Believe that."
Year.
I'm weak.
Not a prediction. It's a spoiler. But let's jump into our main event, the rewrite. CC will be leading us to the promised land.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We came here today to talk to you about one of the best performers in the WWE and in history. How do I know this? Because I'm talking about Naomi. And if anybody knows Naomi, you know that she was one of the best performers out here before she even got to the WWE. That's right. She's from where I'm sitting right now in the good old town of Orlando, Florida. But yeah, she was from right down here, man. Before she even got to the WWE, she was cheerleading and dancing for the Orlando Magic. And that was during the years where it was actually lit or whatever. It came on WWE, you know, they had her on the developmental, actually, you know, did some stuff that I didn't think they would actually do at the time. And they actually made her the inaugural FCW, you know, women's champion. They didn't call it women's champion. They call it divas because it was 2010 and they still wasn't woke yet, but we're not going to hold them to that. You know, a lot of us were making mistakes back then, myself included. Blame the alcohol. That was not me. I'm another person. Moving on.
They really gave them a butterfly belt. Like, looking back on it, like, that was really fucking sexist.
It was like, how can we further symbolize that we don't respect them and don't think they have actual power? How about
this bedazzled butterfly championship?
This Claire's ass belt.
I'm like, yo, in some cases, these niggas are hitting each other with chairs. And you gonna give her a butterfly belt, bro? Like,
yeah, they fight over a beret.
Me, like,
oh my god, that's so silly, dog.
But yeah, speaking of silly things, so the rest of what's going on here. So she actually ends up on NXT that third season where it was all female with Kelly as her coach. And she actually did really well, but she made it to second. No surprise to anybody black listening to the show. She actually lost to Caitlyn. Yep, that pause was so you could remember who Caitlyn was. Because, yeah, exactly. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Moving on. She got onto the Raw roster around 2012. Actually came out with Maga Clay, now known as, I will not call that man by his former name. He is Maga Clay. He made that choice. With the Funkadactyls, she came out pulling from her dance background and whatnot or whatever. And then from there, she kind of like got that, you know, she had that thing happen to her that, I mean, honestly, like, you know, look at your Mandy Roses and Dana Brooks. You know, you can basically guess what's happening right here. You know, they have her win some, they have her lose some, but, you know, eventually she actually gets into kind of like a pretty good feud involving her husband. Like, in order for Naomi to have a good feud, she had to add a man there. Guys, getting really sexist here, you know, plowing forward. The Miz actually helped her out in that feud because that kind of like led to the Nikki Bella stuff or some mixed tag matches, but, you know, it's kind of just it's kind of for right there or whatever. But finally, she was drafted to SmackDown, and I'm skipping over Team Bad because that was racist. You put 3 black girls in a group and called them Team Bad. That should never happen. Anyway, 2016 comes, she debuts on SmackDown. She gets drafted. You know, she has some matches there, but nothing really notable. And then the start of 2017, you know, Naomi actually came back, and she came back for Alexa Bliss, and she was like, "Look, bro, I might have to get that up off you." Little do you know, Elimination Chamber comes around, and Naomi wins. She becomes the first African American SmackDown Women's Champion. It's the first time in her career she collects that check, and she collects that chip, and we all amazingly happy for her. But unfortunately, she had to dump the title because of an actual injury that she had, not a fake one. She eventually comes back. And she actually gets the championship back from Oh man, she actually had a championship match with Lana or whatever. But we're gonna
Two,
move on.
multiple. She had like 3 championship matches with Lana.
Three.
One was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
7
but
seconds.
Yeah.
I really much like. Oh
When I tell
gosh,
you
but yeah,
Lana, I looked on her Wikipedia. When I tell you this woman falls into title opportunities, like this for someone who can't wrestle, like if you look at her Wikipedia, she has been in so many title matches. It's
bruh,
insane. Like
bruh,
just slips right into them. Just so slip
bruh.
into a feud for a title.
For what? And for what? Who wins? No one, you know. But yeah, so like Naomi, she gets her second run at the chip, gets it back after the injury, and then not something, but like what it was like 140 days later, she actually gives it up to Natalya at SummerSlam, and then from there, it's just been. Let's not really talk about it. Like one of her storylines was that, her man with melanin was with a white woman. And it's just like, we were already going through a lot of trauma at that time in the country. Didn't know why we needed that, but sure, let's do that. And now we're here. So now we're here to talk about Naomi, one of the illest in here, with a lot of highlights from things like Royal Rumbles, where she's found creative ways to stay in the ring. A lot of creative moves. It seems like every time, and I just want to say this really quick. It seems like every time, like Naomi has had injuries, unfortunately, in her career, and they've kind of like plagued her. But it seems like every time she comes back, she has like a new set of moves and all these other new things that she set up, and they're incredibly entertaining. And I'm confused as to why she's not rewarded for that when I have to see some other women punch you really lightly in the chin and that's their finisher and you got to lay it out. But I mean, hey, different strokes, different folks. But we all came here to talk about Naomi and how we would hopefully all of us extend that championship run, and not only extend it, but how would we book that there? So I am going to start because mine is probably the most basic for this one. Really, I didn't even want to go like too out of the realm of like, the normal or whatever, go crazy for entertainment purposes. I really just wanted to see something that was incredibly plausible, right? So let's say, she gets the title back the second time, right? She still gets the match at SummerSlam with Natalya, but instead of her losing or whatever, Tamina actually comes out and helps her or whatever. And they kind of reform Team Bad. And then from there, like what happens is they kind of like, they let every woman who at that time like could have got a shot at the title like kind of come at Naomi, but they kind of like Naomi and Tamina kind of have this like Shawn Michaels and oh gosh, what is Rick Rude kind of run, wherever like she's the champ, that's the muscle, y'all not messing with this or whatever, and she just holds on to it for a while until she loses it. I'm thinking either like a Royal Rumble, maybe. Yeah, I'm thinking like she keeps it after WrestleMania and then holds on to it until Royal Rumble, and then maybe she drops it to like Charlotte Flair or something. But all the while, like she has like Tamina as the muscle there, so like she can actually get her the respect. Because my thing is like what I've never seen in her career. Everyone said like, yeah, she can do this, she can do that, she can do that, blah blah. But she never gets that like respect. Like no, like treat me like I'm the champ, like I'm a threat, like blah blah blah. So like that's how I wanted to see her story rewritten. How would you guys have done it?
Go ahead, Chan.
It's very simple for me, kind of like you were saying. I think what you do is that you put her on a collision course with Asuka. I think we talked about last week. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to, pick at that scab, but we know they did Asuka wrong. We can all agree on that. I think the way you legitimize Naomi is giving her a legitimate opponent. I think part of the reason why she's so nerfed is because they never have her face anyone legitimate and win. All of her like legitimate opponents, she always loses. And so I think if you're gonna have Asuka lose, you have her lose to Naomi, and you just kind of let that ride out. Because like I said, an entire championship reign does nothing for you. Like I was really thinking about it, and I think why I also, besides her being a black woman, why I have a soft spot for Naomi is because she reminds me so much of Dolph Ziggler. They're like these people who can really work, and like for whatever reason, no one likes them. And yeah. I know I'm not the cool kids don't like Dolph Ziggler, but I love Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler would do. He can fucking work.
He would take a
work.
bump. He made Goldberg like $1 million in that SummerSlam match.
When
I say them spears were spearing, like they were here spearing like it was 03. So like Dolph Ziggler can give you a good match, but like, and I think part of the thing also the appeal of that type of wrestler is there you have your guys like my favorite wrestler is The Rock. Like, don't get me wrong, like I'm not some like mid-card heartthrob, but like
yeah, come on.
There is something about that guy where it's like, oh, I didn't think he was gonna win that, and he won it. Like, good for that's what's up. Good for you, bro. Good for you, dog. Like, okay, I see you, bro. Because you never think they're gonna win, but then they do. It's like, okay, like, all right, like that's what's up. It makes you feel good, and that's what Naomi title reign makes you feel good. For Naomi, like she earned that because like people wrestlers like her, they sell. It'll be in any kind of 6-pack challenge, any kind of 8-woman tag match to start a feud that really doesn't need an 8-woman tag match.
She was in a multi-woman tag match where it was just basically the cast of divas against the women who weren't on the cast of divas. Yeah. I mean,
and I think what you do with someone like that is you do what you've done with someone like Becky. Is that once Becky got serious and she really was like you kind of dropped the steampunk Irish thing and she just became the man. She became so much more legitimate. And I'm not saying you have to change Naomi's character, but you have to give her legitimate things too. You have to make her a serious wrestler. Like the dancing, the lights, that's cool. That's a great part of her gimmick. But in ring, like you need to really emphasize like how she can wrestle. And I think a wrestler that does that is Asuka. And their title reigns, intertwined. Like Asuka came up April 2017. She has her championship 2017. Obviously, like I said, you don't have her lose to Natalya, so they can kind of collide at WrestleMania. But I think that's really the storyline. You build it up as like Asuka has never lost. I'm Asuka. I'm the baddest bitch on the planet. I'm the Empress of Tomorrow. Like Asuka lock time. You know what time it is. And you have Naomi kind of almost as the underdog as champion, where it's like, I've done all this, kind of like you did with Kofi Kingston. I've done all this stuff. I've like tried to prove to you over and over again I should be champion. And y'all don't respect me. And y'all giving all this love to Naomi. I mean, to Asuka. And now maybe like you did, Kofi, you do have her lose to, the female Brock Lesnar, Charlotte eventually. Because, that's what.
I mean, I picked the same one.
Yeah.
What did Thanos say? Charlotte.
What did Thanos say? He said, dread it. Run from it. Destiny arrives all the same.
All the same.
Charlotte arrives all the same. Like Charlotte's coming. Like, so that's what's gonna happen. But I think you build up, you do Naomi so many favors by giving her like that legitimate Mania moment against a legitimate opponent who people were hot on, being like, no, I am here, I'm established, I will always be a world champion. Because that just means like when you say former WWE champion Kofi Kingston, it just gives him a little bit more oomph. Yes. Like it gives you something. Yeah. And so I think that type of rub, I think, would really help him.
It makes everything that he does in the ring mean something.
Yeah.
Every time they say it. Mm-hmm. What about you, Armon?
Yeah, I agree. I think she needed some better opponents, like 3 Lana matches and then losing it to Natalya at SummerSlam in Brooklyn when you're a black woman is just absolutely insane to me.
It's anti-black.
If this was a SummerSlam in Toronto, it'd be like, all right, word, like Natty's
hometown,
cool.
yeah.
You give her hometown glory. And I know Naomi's not from Brooklyn, but
black people are inherently from Brooklyn.
the Brooklyn crowd is going to identify more with Naomi than they would with Natty.
This is the Jay-Z in the building every 3 days out of the week, Brooklyn.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying?
At that time. Yeah.
Right. So I think it would have been cool to see her get some better opponents. You got to remember at this time, Bayley, Charlotte, and Sasha were all on Raw. So like Natty only had Alexa Bliss, who she beat for the title, Becky Lynch, who wasn't the Becky Lynch she is now. Dana Brooke was on. No, Dana Brooke wasn't on SmackDown. Carmella was there. She was holding the Money in the Bank. But like SmackDown didn't really have all that much. Like it definitely wasn't a strong roster. And as we know, going into 2018, it gets even worse. But I think it would have been cool for Naomi to beat Natty and then hold the title till Survivor Series to give her that match against Bliss again with the SmackDown Women's Champion versus Raw Women's Champion. It's kind of like, yo, I beat you for the titles. You completely left the show. You had to go win it on Raw. But now you got to come see me again. So like, what's up? I think the Naomi Asuka match would have been cool. Naomi and Charlotte would have been cool as well. I don't necessarily know when it would have been time for her to lose. Like it would have been amazing for her to carry it all the way until the next Mania. That's not realistic, but it would have been if they want to do like a triple threat maybe with Naomi, Charlotte, and Asuka. But like at some point, like you said, she is gonna have to see Charlotte, and so
bill comes due.
Yeah, so like it worked out that Natty got a title off her, and then Natty was the one that lost to Charlotte because Charlotte had turned face when she came back to SmackDown. So having Naomi, a face, lose to another face, it would have just been one of those like, we're choosing the the person that we like more, and we're kind of just going to dismiss the person that we like less. So Naomi kind of would have suffered from that. And how does she recover from a Charlotte loss? Because again, the SmackDown roster wasn't that strong. She wouldn't have necessarily had any other opponents that could have, that were legitimate, that kind of would have given her that the Kofi run, for example, where Kofi faced KO, Dolph Ziggler, Samoa Joe, Randy Orton. Like, Kofi had some really good opponents during his title reign. Even if people don't feel like it was the strongest, like he always had to overcome something. KO turning on New Day, Dolph Ziggler just running in, beating him up from behind. It should have been me. Samoa Joe just being bigger with the coquina clutch. Randy Orton getting personal with his family. Like with Naomi, because she's such a good performer and she's like the glow. She's so charismatic. You would have had to give her opponents that kind of got at her in the same way Samoa Joe got at AJ Styles or Randy Orton got at Kofi. So like, let's say Mandy Rose was there at the time when Naomi was champion. If Mandy Rose was doing the whole, I'm trying to get at Jimmy J, whichever Uso she's with, like if we could have seen Naomi kind of gain more of an edge as a champion and have to be more ruthless and aggressive, I think that would have made her reign more legitimate as well. Because it's kind of like what we talked about with Asuka. We remember the moment. The moment was great. The journey was great. But the reign after just was not great at all. And, with Asuka, it's been timing. It's been, they're going to put Charlotte over you. Ronda's here. It's Becky's time. With Naomi, it's timing, but it's also been a lack of faith on creative to put her in these certain positions. Like, she pinned Asuka a couple weeks ago, and they really didn't make a big deal out of it. like
she was beating Nia Jax's ass, bro.
Yeah,
that don't happen. Like it was, and it didn't look like there's. All right, I'm gonna be completely honest, bro. Like sometimes I don't like watching Nia Jax matches with the girls who are a lot smaller with her than her or whatever, because Nia has to do such a fucking good job of like selling what they're actually doing to her. Naomi looked like she was actually just beating her ass. Like that didn't look like it would. And that's the thing that I don't get. And like, Naomi, I hope you're hearing this shit. All three of us are saying the same thing. We had 3 different bookings and saying the same thing. They need to give you your damn respect or whatever. You need to go out and go get that or whatever. You need thing. You need to come by the house, pick that up, have somebody go look at it or something like that. Tell me what you need to do, bro. We right down the street from the boys. We ready. But yeah, no, like the whole point is like her, like if you've ever, here's the thing. If you want to watch women's wrestling in the WWE, then you want to watch a Naomi match. Like that's just the truth. Because you've ever seen them, then like you can't really like look at her and be like, oh man, she like really messed that up, or like that wasn't that entertaining. I just watched the one last week or whatever. Like I'm watching it and I'm like, so is no one else seeing this? Like, should we not spend more time like seeing like how many more spots we can get out of this? Like, what if she was going one-on-one with somebody in like a ladder match or something like that? Like, put some stakes to this and see how crazy this would be. Because these moves got me going crazy, and I'm just watching through a screen, and there's no crowd there, but there's still energy, and that's what I'm saying. Like, she has so much energy, and she can carry it with the care. It's not like she can't talk or whatever. And there's been people who can't talk who y'all put this on. So what y'all need to do is get your minds right or whatever and put Shorty on. She's been out here killing it. Have her go out there, really push her, give her that push, give her the money in the bank. Then, if y'all really about it.
I have an idea.
What's up?
It's getting kind of crazy. So let's say Naomi loses the title. No, she has. So her first title reign is January 24th, 2017.
Ooh.
Do you know what happened on January 20th, 2017?
No.
A mixtape was released titled Gangsta Bitch Music Volume 2. I think what you do with Naomi, you go the celebrity route. You give her a heater. You give her Bacardalis. You have SummerSlam in Brooklyn.
Wow.
You have Cardi B come out with Naomi, a rapper on the precipice of stardom, with a wrestler on the precipice of stardom.
That was the Bodak Yellow summer.
That's Bodak Yellow. Do you know how crazy? how many like the stan accounts on Twitter?
It would go
stupid if
so
Naomi
many
was in a
people
Cardi
would have
B
watched
video,
a wrestling match who didn't usually watch a wrestling match.
If Cardi B shows up on SmackDown to be like, you're not gonna talk about my friend Naomi, like that's all she has to say, and it's all over the internet.
And that would be gold, because I remember when Naomi won the title at Mania, like there were non-wrestling pages, just like Black women's empowerment
Black
pages,
Queen,
posting it. Like,
yes,
yo, this is the first Black women's champion in wrestling. I was like, yo, oh shit, like this shit is permeating. So like, you throw Cardi B in the mix.
You struck brunch gold. You have every brunch across America is talking about wrestling now. You've done it, Vince. You've gotten the Black vote, Vince. You've done it. Like that would have made Naomi such a big star, because not only do you have Cardi B, then you can kind of entwine like, oh, she has this relationship with the Usos, and that's related to like The Rock, and like you do have almost this like quasi stardom within that, and then you have the total divas angle where like they've both been on reality TV. Like you had such a like a. Obviously, it's not that simple to like Cardi B, but like that nugget could have really been something so special if it would have been like tapped into. Because you can't tell me, like you said, like any type of like Blavity, The Root, like they would eat that up. Like that would be front page news.
Bro, she could do that with Megan right now, bro. She could do that shit with Megan right now.
Look, we need the Meg Naomi Bussett challenge.
Oh God!
I mean, for professional, respectful reasons is why I'm saying it.
Hello?
Yeah. Research purposes only.
Is this thing on?
Give me what I want. What did Jesus say?
But yeah, shout out to Naomi. Much love to Naomi. She's one of the illest. I hope you know that you're one of the illest. If you go and watch a Naomi match right now, you will not be disappointed. I promise you that.
I will say one thing. I do think that she could improve on the mic. She's better than Sasha Banks, but she's not as good as Bianca. She's not as good as a Becky Lynch. She's not as good as a Bailey. So that's the like one Nia thing. Jax.
But she just needed a consistent.
She's better than Nia.
She needed a consistent story so she could practice. Like
That's
my thing is
true.
like I feel the same way. Like she definitely could be better on the mic, but at the same time I'm like, well, when the fuck would she get a chance to? Because they don't let this nigga talk.
She ain't never talked about that.
We hear from her like audibly maybe once a month, once every 2 months. So you're right. Like she just hasn't had the opportunities to really get it together because she dazzles so much in ring and with her entrance and all that. And you just like Naomi. So like, you know, even if she makes a mistake in the ring, it's like, oh, well, like we like you. So like, it's all good. Yeah. But would a heel turn, cause there's been a lot of people there's a lot of people who think she's going to be the first woman in the Hurt Business. I wouldn't hate it.
I would love it.
I wouldn't hate. I would love it. I think I would love it.
Naomi in a fur, bro, and diamonds with the Hurt Business.
That's what they would need to do. I'm afraid. I don't know who would write it. And I actually, because MVP is involved, I know he would do this. But there's definitely a time in WWE history where she would just become like a music video vixen, and it would be like just like hood rat Naomi, and like that would be how they would pin like, oh, she's like tough now. It would be like that, like chewing bubblegum on hard and shit. But if it was just like I'm on some bougie, like this is business, like I came here I came here to work, like I'm the head bitch in charge, like that type of energy. I think
HBIC. If she get an HBIC chain, I swear to God,
me and Yim already got that, and it's like I think that's kind of like
Yim don't need that.
I was like, you don't need that anyway. But yeah, I mean, that would be good if she was like. And it was almost like she was obviously not the leader of the Hurt Business, but she was at an elevated status. It was like, no, like I have the
first lady,
like, first lady type. That would be really great for her. Yeah,
I think and the only thing is, I'm wondering if they should get a second woman, because having like the guys interfere, like let's say Naomi's in a Raw Women's title match, and like they're trying to cheat to help her win, like having a guy interfere, whether it's pulling the champion's leg or something like that would be a little strange. So
it'd have to be MVP, because he's only doesn't really wrestle. Like Cedric couldn't do it, but like if MVP did it, you can kind of, he's just like protecting his client. Like it could be like a Paul Heyman type thing.
Yeah, that's fair. Because I was about to be like,
the idea of the second
woman? What woman? It's not going to be Lana. They're not bringing Lana in after Lashley divorced her.
It should be Ember Moon. Drop that fucking werewolf gimmick. Like, just drop it. It's not believable. It doesn't make any sense. It should be Ember Moon, because I think she's coming to the main roster soon as well. And I think you just repackage her just like Ember, or just Moon. Honestly, Moon's kind of hard. But like
Moon
that could
hard.
be tough.
Oh, that's hard.
That would be cool.
Moon. Ooh. Yo,
right?
I was about to say Nia Jax should join because she legitimately be hurting people.
She got hurt. Like, she would also hurt Cedric. She's way bigger than
bigger than Cedric. Imagine we see MVP talking to Nia before like a tag title match with Shayna. Her and Shayna lose the titles, and then Nia just destroys Shayna and joins them. Like that would be kind of cool.
Compounding the storylines. No, it should be. Oh God! So Billy Kay goes to MVP. So I need some help to win this title. I got the Money in the Bank now, and then you randomly see Naomi help Billy Kay get the title, and then it's kind of like the Bobby Lashley thing. She's like, MVP sent me, and then she leaves, and then now she's a heel with her business. Billy Kay has a title, and you've like established both in one swing. Like the whole MVP send me. That's kind of all right. MVP send me.
This is
courtesy of the Hurt Business.
This is big brain business right here.
You got it. Yes. It all connects. It's all one universe, people. It's all one universe.
I love it.
But yeah, I think that's how you do it. You don't even you don't have her talk. You just see her go out and do her business. And it's like, oh, that's the decision she made for herself.
I like that better too, because like you're interested because you didn't see her try to build it up. You're asking the question like, why'd you do this? Like, yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she like explains to like Jimmy, like, hey, it's what I had to do. Like I had to do what I had to do. Like it's business.
Yeah, because that's an interesting dynamic too. Like him coming back, how does he feel about the other side of the family doing like or everything? And then he see that like, what if he's like what if Jimmy comes back and he's like the only one with like a moral center out of like, oh my god,
because they got to go to war. Because Bobby Lashley versus Roman got to go to war. At some point, Survivor Series or earlier, like that's her business versus the tribe is that's money. That's
business versus business. Bloodline will be elite.
Yeah, that'd
big be great work.
That's big business. 6-man tag match. That's big business. So that's gotta happen. So yeah, you have them in the middle. Like that'd be super tough.
Wow.
There you go. That's the next 6 months of programming, people. That's
appreciate it. That's what we usually do here. Shit, you come fuck with the boys. You get your daily programming. That's how it goes.
It's been written, so there you go. Hope you enjoy it.
We are the men with the pen doing what we do best. Naomi, we're pulling for you. We're hoping for a great Mania program. We'll see what happens, but yeah, we're here. Also, for you listeners, this will be the last time that you will be able to have access to our pre-write and our free write, as the network is making a very, very big move soon. It will be announced right around WrestleMania time. Stay locked for that. We will have a very special pre-WrestleMania episode for y'all leading into WrestleMania 37. I know I'm looking at them tickets and flights, and I might be out there. I might be out there in Tampa.
I'm like 45 minutes down the road. I'm really thinking about it. Like
he said, Vince, come fuck with me.
You know what I'm saying?
Might have to make that trip.
I might have to get involved in that Braun Shane match and make it fire. You could call me Nicholas.
That stimmy hit. I might have to buy a pod.
You see? But yeah, that's our show today. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we will be back in 2 weeks.